We've noticed that developing apps sucks. I don't know if you have this experience, but...
Welcome to the podcast, Maddy.
Yeah, thank you.
Nice to have you here. Yeah, and we're at Öredev, I should say, for the record.
Yep.
And yeah, you had, was it one presentation or several presentations? Two.
Yesterday, I talked about just a bunch of random .NET stuff, but mostly .NET Aspire. And today I talked about Blazor Hybrid with MAUI. So two of my fun things to talk about.
Yeah, exactly, because I'm not that into .NET myself, so I'm always looking to widen my views. I know lots of listeners are into .NET.
Yeah.
And I have friends who are really enthusiastic about Blazor and MAUI and stuff like that. So I'm not sure I know the questions to ask, but I would love to hear.
Oh, good. Trust me, I can ramble for eternity on both of them.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, it's been fun this week too, because I don't know when this will air, but next week is .NET Conf from today. And so, of course, all of our big announcements are next week. So I'm but if you wait a week, in a week, you'll be able to learn about blah, blah, blah.
This is going to come out later than a week.
Okay,
guaranteed.
awesome.
Yeah.
So for those of you who get to listen now in the future, you can go back and watch some of the .NET Conf stuff.
We'll link it then.
It should be fun. Yeah. So on the MAUI side for .NET 9, a lot of stability work is kind of the theme, but we just announced a partnership with, or I guess partnership is too formal of a word, but SyncFusion just gave us a bunch of free controls, open source, that people can now use in their MAUI apps. Yeah, which has been really nice because they made a whole new template and it's got all these fancy things in it, like the shimmer control, when your page is loading, it makes the little shimmery animation. I was
I need that.
I know. I was like, that's so nice. And on the Blazor side, there's just been a bunch in terms of unifying the rendering modes. And so as you're not a .NET person, hopefully this doesn't mean anything to you because it's a bunch of wasted knowledge in my brain about how Blazor rendering works. But kind of individually, the products have a lot going into .NET 9. But the hybrid story itself has been awesome because when we shipped MAUI and .NET 6 or 7 with the hybrid Blazor stuff, we were like, this is a cool gimmick. You can put Blazor in a MAUI app and it runs offline and blah, blah, blah. And it totally blew up. Everybody loves it. And so
it's just the next sort of happy.
Yeah, exactly. We didn't think it was going to be that. We knew people in Blazor wanted desktop app support, but we didn't think it was going to be as big a deal as it was. And so there's been a ton of investment there. And now in .NET 9, MAUI is shipping the just regular hybrid web view, which is the same model as Blazor Hybrid, but for JavaScript. And so if you have a JavaScript front end and you want to run that in a mobile or desktop app, without Electron, you can use MAUI and .NET as your shell, the host for it. And it's super performant, and it's nice because you can then mix and match Blazor stuff and JavaScript stuff and MAUI stuff and all the device things.
Inside the same app.
Yeah. So it's very flexible. We have, I just went to Tech Bash a couple months ago, which is in Pennsylvania in the U.S., and one of the organizers there had built the app with Blazor Hybrid, and it actually looked so good. I was like, I had no idea this was a Blazor Hybrid app. And so he told me he was, just generally very pleased with how well it's been working. And yeah, there's a lot with the hybrid stuff I think that we'll look at going past .NET 9, but that's the big exciting thing there for our MAUI Blazor people is just the general hybrid web view. So
I talked to someone a little bit about .NET stuff yesterday. So is it MAUI that can give you native controls?
Yeah.
It's a nice step up from Electron.
Oh yeah. No, MAUI's we took a hard bet on MAUI. So I was on the MAUI team. I guess I still am kind of on the MAUI team. I've just been spending more time on Aspire stuff because MAUI doesn't need me because they're doing well.
Okay, yeah.
They were like, we don't need you. I was like, oh, okay.
They're on the road.
Yeah, but from the Xamarin days, history and into MAUI, kind of, we made this bet that people want native controls. Yeah. They want it to look and feel like iOS.
Yeah.
And that's different than what Flutter and React have done because they draw everything.
Yeah.
And so that's nice because the apps look the exact same and they function the exact same. But for us, a lot of .NET customers do line of business stuff or you have an iPad and you go to a site and you're offline and you're looking at some electrical work and you're trying to figure out what's wrong with it. And those people we've noticed really like the native feel. Yeah. And so that's played out really well for MAUI, but Blazor has become a nice other option because Blazor just draws it like it would look on the web. Yeah. And so now you can have things that look the exact same in MAUI if you want, or native, or you can mix and match. And then, of course, we have like all the underlying device stuff. So if you want to turn on the flashlight, you can do that. Very useful.
yeah, exactly. I mean, that's always an interesting thing, how easy or hard it becomes to like interact with the actual hardware or software on that device.
Awesome. So what do you do for development? So I can sell you.
Yeah, exactly. I'm mostly web front-end right now. We have a React app, which is basically a client app for like higher education schedulers.
Oh.
They create the schedules for universities inside this app.
Wow.
Yeah. And so
Don't tell me it's called Blackboard.
No, it's called Time Edit.
Oh, okay. Because the one I used in college, I guess it was like 10 years ago, but that was terrible.
Yeah.
So, it's not that.
Yeah. So I mean, it's always fun to talk to people who have recently been students, because you say Time Edit and you see the gears going. I have seen this somewhere, but I have no idea where it was. It was something with university. Yep. So they don't see the part of the system I do, but so the thing I do could basically be, it could have been a desktop app as well, but the web was the natural choice for multi-platform and stuff like that.
Exactly.
So I feel like I'm sort of in the marketing curious about other options than a plain web thing, because nobody's in the browser just for the fun of it either.
No.
And people enjoyed back when we had a Java desktop app that you could download and run as a proper app, so to speak.
We have this like spectrum we show that's like web is reach. It's like you can get everywhere pretty quickly with a low barrier to entry. But native apps like desktop and mobile are depth. Yeah. And you can have these really nice like native experiences. And so, I mean, hey, hybrid web view with MAUI, not a bad choice. What's your backend?
It's a bunch of stuff. We have some Node stuff. We have a bunch of old Java stuff for parts of the system. And then we have C++ all the way behind that. It's basically like the business logic is in C++.
Yeah.
All the scheduling rules systems and stuff like that. So it's a nice multi-level.
Oh my goodness. Have you heard about .NET Aspire at all?
No.
Am I allowed to do a marketing pitch?
Sure. Go for it.
This is my like new baby. Mm-hmm. So Aspire sounds like it actually might be helpful for you. Mm-hmm. Basically, the .NET team at some point was like, hey, building apps, all of our demo apps are like, here's a front end and here's a database. And look, they talk to each other. Yeah. And a lot of folks on the .NET team worked in the industry before and worked on these crazy apps with like 5 different languages and all this stuff. And as the cloud has become more and more popular and like the thing, we've noticed that developing apps sucks. I don't know if you have this experience, but
sort of.
Yeah, like we talked to people and they were like, yeah, like we have this one back end thing, and to get that to run locally, you need to run this like very specific script. And if this one guy is on vacation, it doesn't work.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, and then like, okay, then we have this Java backend, and that's great, but getting the Java backend to run alongside this JavaScript front end, because we don't do something with this tool, we do it with that tool, and then all of a sudden we have all these containers we have to spin up, and we have this Docker Compose file that's out of control. And all this stuff.
Exactly.
And so, so this is what Aspire kind of came in for, and it's called .NET Aspire, mostly because marketing didn't want to do the work to find a name that was, for everything. It's never like it's .NET Aspire, but it works with JavaScript. It works with anything that is an executable, basically. Obviously, it's best with .NET because we control a lot of the .NET stuff.
Yeah, of course.
But it's basically, it's a lot of things, and every time I say it's basically something, someone comes up to me after and is like, that's not what it is at all.
Upset.
Yeah. No. But to me, the best part of it is that you can do all of the orchestration of like your local development stuff in C#. And so you can say like, okay, like my builder, I have a add backend, or like add executable, it's my C++. And then add node app, and it's my node backend. And then I have add my NPM app, and that's my JavaScript front end. And then Aspire will orchestrate spinning all those up, doing service discovery, so it figures out what ports need to be called. And then if you have any containers, like if you're trying to locally emulate a database or your Redis cache or whatever it is, it also spins all of those up in Docker and does the service discovery.
Ooh. Yeah, it sounds like you can save some work here and there.
Oh, yeah. And so for .NET developers, for all my homies listening, it will also do a lot of smart things like turn on features we have in .NET that we just never turned on for people that nobody knows exist. Like, like resiliency with poly. So like it'll automatically retry things instead of just failing.
It comes in handy sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
I've heard.
Yeah. The built-in open telemetry support that I didn't even know existed until I started working on Aspire. Like there's just open telemetry built into .NET and JavaScript and a lot of other things. So we can turn all that on. And then when you run the Aspire-ified app, it opens a dashboard and it shows you all that. And it says like, here are all the pieces of your app, and here's what's running, and here's the data that we have from all of these things. And it's very nice.
Yeah.
And so that's been like my world tour the past couple of months, as I've been like, everyone needs to know about this. Nobody knows what it is. We don't really know how to talk about it, but it's really cool.
Yeah. We need to start somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. And so every time I hear people who are like, oh, like, yeah, well, I'm not .NET. I have this front end, and then we have this back end. I'm like, you need to check out Aspire, and you need to let me know if it actually works for you, because that's the goal.
So you describe the stuff you want to run, and it figures stuff out for you.
Yeah.
And then is there some kind of additional thing you want to add in to get like the telemetry and stuff where that?
So for .NET, and I think most JavaScript stuff will turn it on for you now, which is great. It's just injecting a bunch of environment variables at this point. Like it's really we're not doing anything crazy magic.
No, that's good.
For Java, we have a community contribution that I think does it all, but I need to check that. And then C++, it's at that point, I think you just run it as an executable on the machine. So there's probably not much with the telemetry, but it's very flexible, so you can add whatever and wire it up. And it also does things like health checks. So if you have your own custom health checks and then you want to like expose that endpoint, you can do that. The service discovery is, for me, the best part, because I hate having to figure out, especially because I work on both a Mac and a PC, and certain Mac ports are blocked that aren't blocked on PC, and vice versa. Yeah, so you get everything working on the PC, and then you're like, okay, I need to go test this on iOS. Let me see, and then and all these ports are borked, and you're like, so the automatic service discovery has been great for me, and it just injects all those as environment variables. Like it feels like magic, but it's not.
Yeah.
So
you just have to look at the injected variables, and then you're off and running.
Exactly. Yeah. It's pretty cool. It's pretty nifty.
Yeah. A quick but huge thank you to everyone sponsoring us on Ko-fi. You can become one of those incredible individuals by surfing to ko-fi.com/KODSNACK and sending us either a one-time donation or a monthly support. If you support us on the coffee drinker level for €5 per month, you get a bunch of very nice stickers in your actual mailbox. If you support us on the barista level for €10 per month or more, you also get a thank you right here. Big thanks to Joel Rangsmo, Martin Hagen, Michelle, Albin Groen, Anders Legell, Brother Ingo, and Tobbe Lundberg. Everyone who supports us help make this podcast possible, and the more of you there are, the better we can make the podcast. We do sometimes have sponsors, but it's actually your support which is making it possible to cover our costs month to month. If you want to support us in other ways, you can of course give the podcast a review in your podcast player. Give it a thumbs up, a star, write a comment, or whatever your player supports. Or simply tell someone who might like the podcast about an episode. But remember, you're a fantastic person whether you support us or not.
And so my like selfish world domination for .NET play, which for all of the .NET people listening, I hope you join me in this play for world domination. I think like literally anyone, even if you don't do any .NET, you could probably benefit from Aspire because it makes developing easier. Like it's a developer tool at the end of the day. And so if everyone has a C# app orchestrator locally, that means everybody's using .NET.
Yeah.
And .NET takes over the world. And that's the only .NET you ever have to see. Yeah. And the other thing we've seen from folks who like haven't looked at .NET in a while is we've taken away a lot of the, how do I say this nicely? Taken away a lot of the stuff in like a basic C# file.
That's good.
Yeah, and so for a JavaScript developer or like a Python developer, they look at .NET from 10 years ago or C# from 10 years ago and they're like, this is disgusting. Like, it looks like Java with more.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. And now they look at it and they're like, oh, like what's so interesting about this? This looks like nice, normal, readable code. Yeah. I'm like, no, you don't understand. This is a huge deal. Yeah, like there's no namespace.
Let me show you the difference, please.
Yeah. So the Aspire like app host file, as we call it, that's the runner. It's, there's no namespaces in it. There's no like crazy indents just to get to the first line of code. It's literally just like builder.add, builder.run. Oh, nice. So it's not terrifying to look at like other app.NET code has looked in the past.
Yeah, it's nice when things go forward and get cleaned up and stuff like that.
Right, yeah.
But so some people will complain that this is not at all what the interesting part of Aspire is. So what are they seeing as the most interesting?
Oh my God. The other big parts of Aspire, so the dashboard thing that shows everything that's running, that in its own is kind of a huge deal. It can show you all like the traces and the communication between all the different bits of your app, which is really nice for debugging purposes, especially because you'll be like, why is this not, what is actually being sent in this request here? Look at but to me, that's just kind of an extension of the app host stuff. The other interesting stuff is the integrations that we like have a curated set, and then now we have the community. Now that this is coming out in a couple weeks, I can say like there's a community toolkit. So community people can contribute basically any type of cloud resource. There's a package for that we give you. That's just glue that tells Aspire and your project code how to actually work with these things. And how to start them up, and how to configure the Docker container, and how to do things like data mounts or pick specific images and tags. And so the ones, like we have a bunch in the box, like we have Redis, RabbitMQ, a bunch of Azure ones naturally. Just, you know, the usual things, databases. But we, in the community toolkit, also have a bunch of people contributing things that are important to them. And so now anyone can go and use whatever it is that you need or build your own. And someone will have done the work to bootstrap starting up that niche resource. And so, especially with AI stuff, we found this really helpful because everyone is being told by their boss they have to put AI in their app. I don't know if you've had that. But so if people are like, I don't want to deal with this, there's so much to learn. And so we have like an OpenAI component, and you can just plug that in, or Olama, plug that in, and it will do all the setup to get the Docker container or whatever it is running.
So it gets it running locally. That's I see the appeal of that.
Yes. And so those are like the integrations, and so those are nice. And then we have a whole deployment story, and we go 50-50 on like how much we tell people to use the Aspire deployment stuff, because I'm sure you have this experience where like once your deployment works, you do not touch it ever again. Like it is like, oh, we're gonna go update something. No, you're not. It's gonna break. So just don't. Especially in like the polyglot world where you're like, okay, the C++ and then the GitHub pipeline has to do this or whatever it is that you use.
Someone knows each part, but nobody knows how everything goes together.
So I've been kind of of the mindset that's like, don't touch your deployment if it works. Like I don't want to have to hear you. But if you don't have a deployment right now, or like you're starting from scratch, or you're trying to kind of modernize it, we give you like a pretty simple command line experience to get up to Azure Container Apps, which are like basic, you know, scalable type containerized cloud apps. So you don't have to do the heavy lifting of like learning Kubernetes, which every time I think about Kubernetes, I get like acid reflux. And you don't have to do the heavy lifting of like configuring an app service to be really secure or whatever it is. Container apps is kind of like, I shouldn't say foolproof. That's how I get in trouble with the Azure people, but it's easy. And so if you don't have a deployment, you can do basically like AZD up, and we provision and set up all of that, the ACA stuff you need. And everything talks, and it's amazing. And, you know, that's been a really helpful feature for a lot of folks who've been trying to like modernize their deployment. And we've been talking to the AWS folks a lot too, because they're awesome. And they've been working on their own like version of these tools for their cloud development kit. And so to get up to whatever AWS resources make sense to take Aspire and plop it up there. So that's been really helpful for some people. A lot of times we hear from people like, oh, I can't use Aspire because we're not going to change our deployment. Like my DevOps team won't let us. I'm like, you don't have to. That's not Aspire. It's a whole separate part of it.
Use the other fun stuff.
Exactly. But there are some people who are like, the best part of Aspire is the deployment. It is amazing. Everybody should use it. I'm like, okay, cool.
Because that's the problem they had.
Exactly.
Most pressing.
Exactly. And that there's a ton of other just like little quality of life things we do in there. For me, just having someone smarter than me, like set the defaults when I set something up.
I mean, saying defaults is a big thing. Absolutely.
And it's all in C#. So it's not like we're doing anything in memory or something that you can't touch. Like everything is just code.
So you can go in and adjust it if you figure out you need.
Once you start figuring out what you're doing, which I never get to that point.
No, exactly. I'm good with the defaults. Thanks.
Exactly. So, for in this world with AI and security and everything, like I feel like it's been more important than ever because it's so easy to build something that's so easy to break into or break or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So.
And it's so easy to stop thinking of it once you get it running at all. This is good enough for now, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody asked for security.
That's everyone is working on right now. Microsoft is security. So every once in a while we're like, new feature. Oh, sneak it in, get in there, and then back to security. So, yeah.
Yeah, but it is important.
It is.
It's good to know people are focusing on it.
Yeah. Someone has to.
Yeah. I'm really happy for those people that they exist.
Yep. Every all hands lately has been like, so when do we get to stop working on security? Like all we talk about is security, and then all of our leadership is like, you never stop working on security. You guys know that, right? And we're like, yeah. But like,
absolutely, but
hello. So yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. This episode of Code Snack is sponsored by Ellipsis. Well, that's me, sort of. Do you know of a podcast looking for an editor deep into both tech and podcasting, or simply an editor who just gets the editing job done quickly with high-quality chapters and episode notes with relevant links? I love episode notes with relevant links. Ellipsis, that's me in my company form, is what you need. I have edited north of 1,200 podcast episodes, most of them for weekly podcasts, so I really know my tools and techniques. For examples, keep listening to this or any future or past episode of Code Snack, or check out ellipsis.se, that's with dual L's, for more and contact information. Thanks to me for sponsoring Code Snack. That's weird. So when it comes to like desktop apps again, and when it comes to desktop apps on Windows, for example, is it MAUI that's the sort of main way to go, or? Yeah,
I mean, the Windows team has been reinvesting in kind of all of the things that people use. So WinForms, WPF, and WinUI are all like officially supported moving forward. UWP is supported, but really you should be on WinUI because there's no benefit to being on UWP over WinUI anymore.
That's more like staying slightly behind almost.
Yeah, I think it's just they're just like, it exists, but we're not putting money into it anymore. Meanwhile, like WPF, people know still has a very specific like use case for those Windows developers. And same with WinForms, there's just a zillion people using it, even though there's very little like innovation happening with it. It's continuing to work. And so if you want to do like a deeply native Windows experience, WPF WinUI is the way to go. WPF has the same Blazor hybrid story that MAUI does. We worked with them on that. So you can put Blazor in there if you want. But most people we've been talking to have been like, MAUI is probably the way to go because you also get Mac. If that's important for you, you can drill down into native Windows stuff if you need it. But the nice thing about MAUI too is that we will move the platform as the platform changes. Like as Windows says, there's WinUI 4, I have no idea what it'll be. And I shouldn't act like I know because I don't. But if Windows changes their mind on something or improves something, like we'll update it under our hood. And so that will get passed on to you without you having to do a lot of the heavy lifting. Yeah.
So the possible downside is that it's slightly further to drill to get down to the makes sense.
Yeah, and so if you have to do a lot of specific Windows things, it's going to be probably more work on you to drill down. But at this point, a desktop app is not necessarily about the operating system, but it's about like the actual hardware functionality, and those things are pretty similar on all laptops.
I guess get close.
Yeah, we expose a lot of that like at the cross-platform layer. Like even just like putting things in the tray, in the right-click tray in Windows is very easy in MAUI. So.
Yeah, it's fun when it's easy to get to those things as well. It feels like someone thought of the detaels.
Oh yeah. It's magical too when it works. You're like,
exactly.
Look, that's my little icon.
Yeah, exactly. I remember the first time I played with Electron, and I had a Mac with a touch bar. And realized how easy it was to actually get stuff into the touch bar. I mean, it's not very useful, but
no, it's not.
But look, it could actually talk to my hardware. It's incredible.
I'm so sad. I got a new MacBook Air for myself, and it doesn't have the touch bar, and I was like, I kind of miss it. I want that.
Yeah, just a little bit. I never used it very much for anything.
No, it was a nice volume slider. That was
but pretty cool.
Yeah.
You could run some little demo apps in it.
Yeah, exactly.
But not. I like my escape button.
That is true. It is nice having that.
Yeah. Anything else we should say about Blazor or the other parts of it?
All of the parts.
All the great parts.
I mean, there's there's a lot. Blazor and MAUI are really like the front end .NET technologies.
Yeah.
Under the hood, of course, .NET is doing a bunch of other things. Like there's a whole native AOT ahead of time compilation thing that's been happening, which has been for performance. In general, .NET 9 performance is better than .NET 8, which is crazy because we keep making them faster.
Yeah.
And then it's like, how do we make it faster than this?
Yeah.
Guess we have to.
Yeah. We did it last time.
One of the engineers on our team, Stephen Taub, he's great. He writes a blog every year in like the fall, usually like September. That's performance improvements in .NET, whatever. And so this year, if you tried to print out the blog, it was 324 pages. And that was 60 pages shorter than last year.
Oh, so we're slowing down.
And so he was like, yeah, it's kind of short this year. It's not like the best one. And I was like, Steven, it's 300 pages.
Yeah. Steven, get some sleep.
Yeah, seriously. So there's a lot going on there. At .NET Conf in a week / in the past for the listeners, we're also announcing Microsoft Extensions AI, which is a library that's making AI development less of a complete and utter disaster, in my opinion. There's a better marketing way to talk about it, probably. Yeah. But for me, it's just like it makes it a lot easier to switch out different models and test things. And I am an AI skeptic, to the core. But anything to make other people's lives easier, I'm all on board with.
Yeah, so. Getting stuff, making it easier to test stuff and play around. That's I can definitely see the benefit there.
Exactly. Yeah. We have a lot of folks in the .NET team who are really learning about the world and this is what people care about, and we don't help them at all. And so we've been doing a lot of things to help there. And that's been cool. As much as I try to keep it at an arm's length, every once in a while I'm like, oh, that actually is cool.
Yeah. It's also fun to see what people do with it as well. Because some people just have a mindset for it, I feel like. And it's incredible what they come up with. They can really take it and run with it.
The coolest thing for me has been seeing that, AI is not just a chatbot. Because when I think of modern AI, I think of ChatGPT.
Yeah, exactly. That's what.
And so one of our engineers who was working on Extensions AI came up with a sample app that used AI to triage service tickets, basically. So if you reported an issue or a bug or whatever it was it was for a shopping website. So the idea is you have to do a return or whatever it is. No chatbot involved. You just go through the thing and then it files it and it sends it to the right team and blah, blah, blah. And it starts to take the right first steps for it. And I was like, that's actually pretty useful. Yeah. I kind of like that.
Yeah. Sometimes I'm starting to think that maybe the word AI is becoming a little bit overused. Yeah. Because we all say it, people say it for lots of different things, but the thing we'll think of is ChatGPT and the hallucinating text or something like that. Yeah. And there's so much other interesting stuff that people are doing that's not that. Yeah. But it's getting lumped in with it. And I'm not sure that benefits anyone really. Yeah.
And for us in tech, someone can explain it to us and usually we'll be like, oh, I can see. But for someone like my mom, I'm like, oh yeah, it's using AI. And she's like, oh my God, they're sending my information to a chatbot. And I'm like, no, no, it's okay.
No, just the bad people.
Yeah, exactly.
And you won't be able to tell the difference.
Yeah. And then I was trying to explain to her how those, I don't know if you've seen the Amazon Go stores where you just walk in and walk out. Yeah. And apparently they just had 1,000 guys watching videos. And so my mom was like, well, that's AI. And I was like, actually, that one is not AI. They did just have people watching. And she was like, what? Yeah. So it's very confusing.
Yeah.
It's very confusing.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe that's the thing that it would be nice to clear it up a bit.
Yeah.
And see what's
AI should tell us how it works.
Yeah. Just explain it quickly and don't make it up. Yeah. Oh yeah. You mentioned how people are surprised that .NET code is so much cleaner now. And has that been, do you know if that's been a tough perception change?
Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah. We have this one PM, shout out to Claudia, I love her. And she's been on this tear. She came from the Python world. She was a data scientist and she came over to .NET kind of by accident. And she's been on this tear of the .NET perception. And she did a whole user study to people who have heard of .NET but who have not used it, who have graduated college, I think, within the last 5 or 10 years. Yeah. And one of the top 3 words everyone associated with .NET was old. And she was like, this is the problem. And so she's been walking around with like this write-up about it. Like, hey, jerks, like there's a perception issue. Can we start talking about how much we've changed things?
Yeah.
And so they, in this study, I think they like showed people modern .NET code and they were like, whoa. One of the study people, I think, was like, oh, .NET was never a consideration for me because, like, I wouldn't be able to implement my own linked list from scratch. And she was like, I'm sorry, what? You don't think we can do linked lists in .NET? Like, what on earth is going on?
I don't trust anyone else's linked lists.
Yeah, seriously. So, there definitely is a perception thing with .NET. And, I mean, that's part of what happens with a technology that's been around for 22 years.
Yeah.
So it's fair, but there's this newer generation of .NET devs coming up, and they look in these old enterprise .NET repos from 15 years ago, and they're like, what in God's name are you doing here? Like, this is what .NET code looks like now. And so it's fun. It's fun to watch. It is definitely, it's hard. We have not done a great job with like explaining, because there was .NET and then it was .NET Framework and then .NET Core and then we just dropped all the words. Yeah. And now when you Google something about .NET, there's like 18 different versions of the question you Googled, and there's a lot of confusion there. But we're aware of it as an issue, and we're definitely working on the perception thing. And the more we go around and we show people just like what .NET code could look like now, the more people are like, oh, that's not bad at all. And, Java's kind of in the same boat. Java's been around forever, and it's a very enterprisey feeling. But Java now, when you look at it, is very different than it was. And so they've probably been going through the same type of perception shift that we have. And it's kind of fun. We're like, we're the old guys, but we're still cool, we promise. Like, exactly. JavaScript's cool, but we're cool too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I wonder if Java can change its perception. I should ask some Java expert, I guess, because I'm definitely in the past like Java. That's kind of old and clunky.
Yeah. So Aspire in particular, like we had been looking at Spring Boot a lot for inspiration, and we were like, this is really cool. Yeah. Why doesn't everyone who uses Java talk about this?
That's a good question.
Yeah, like it's a good idea.
Yeah.
It's smart, and it's crazy. But a lot of times companies are like, well, someone 20 years ago said Java, and that's why we use it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's still around.
Yeah, and no one's taking the time to be like, oh, let's modernize our code base or whatever it is into .NET VNext or whatever.
So how difficult is it to like start modernizing? If you get thrown into some really old-ish code base, is it a huge project, or is it something you can do gradually, or how?
It depends on how old, like how dusty your project is. If you're still on .NET Framework, there's a non-zero amount of effort to get things onto like .NET Core, we call it, which is the cross-platform, not like completely baked into Windows version of .NET. But we have tooling that helps, and most of our customers have migrated without too much issues at this point. Sometimes you get someone who has some like really niche application and it can get dicey, but you can also rip out different parts of it. Once you're on .NET Core, like updating the C# and everything is relatively easy, and that's all super modular, and you can just kind of do it. Like one day you might say, you know what, for this next file, I'm just going to not put it in a namespace. And then all of a sudden you have 3 less indents, Or, we have to build a new like REST API. Let's do that using the minimal API structure instead of controllers. And like, you can do that very incrementally. And so a very like disciplined developer would be like, please don't mix and match architecture and code style in my repo. So that's something you might have to overcome, but you can kind of like implement things as you go.
So what I hear is that one of those graduated in the recent 5 years developers who get into an older code base shouldn't despair, because you can start moving things forward.
Yeah, and at some point, you people who just graduated will be the dev leads of this team. And we'll be able to say, no, get rid of all of that junk. Like, it's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's a lot of what we're doing, just like across .NET, is just like making it easy to pick and choose. Like with Blazor Hybrid, you don't have to do a whole Blazor app in MAUI. You can do a single Blazor component or a single JavaScript component, and like making it really flexible. And so, of course, people who are like purists of architecture are like, please, stop mixing and matching things. It makes it really hard to read or debug. But that's also kind of the way the world has gone.
Yeah.
And so,
pretty much.
people have to start embracing it.
Yeah.
And then we have to start making it better to actually debug these crazy like blended experiences.
Oh yeah, that's a big thing as well.
Yeah.
I guess that's an area of active work.
Oh yeah. The nice thing about Blazor Hybrid is that it's all .NET. So we can just kind of do it. You know, like we own that stack. But when you start throwing in JavaScript or Java or Node on the back end or whatever it is, like we don't have the same power.
No, you're in kind of strange territory, in between territory.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a fun challenge for us. But first we have to sell people on using multiple things in one.
Yeah.
So that's the first step.
But I guess maybe people sell themselves on that because they have a use case for it.
That's true. So, that is true. But yeah.
Yes, it's exciting times anyway.
It is.
It's really interesting to see where everything is going.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's moving very fast. It's hard to keep up.
Yeah.
I feel like I take a week off for like vacation or like come to a conference and I come back and I'm like, what? What is going on?
30 pages of changes to read.
Yeah, exactly.
The yearly blog.
Yep. And it's all open source. So, you know, people can always follow along, which is helpful. But for me, I'm like, I'm not going to go scroll through all of the GitHub commits from the past 2 weeks.
No.
Someone needs to just tell me.
Yeah. Yeah, there has to be a better level of documentation than the pure commits.
Oh, yeah. So.
Yeah, maybe that's a good point to stop for now.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Maddy. This has been really interesting.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah. Big thanks for listening to Kodsnack. If you want to support us, leave a review in your podcast player of choice, or just tell someone who might like the podcast about an episode. And don't forget you can come hang out in our Slack channel. A link is in the sidebar right on our website at kodsnack.se. Once again, big thanks for listening. Talk to you later.
Let me put it this way, Mr. Raymer. The 9000 series is the most reliable computer ever made. No 9000 computer has ever made a mistake or distorted information. We are all, by any practical definition of the words, foolproof and incapable of error.